UN Relief and Works Agency, I think it's called, basically, is basically a charity organisation that is sponsored by the UN, and it works to give relief to the Palestinians in Hamas. And as we know, there's terrible suffering happening in Hamas at the moment, and this is a big organisation, has an annual funding of $1.2 billion, and it works to give relief
to the people of Palestine.
Palestine. It's a very laudable organisation.
Not really, but go on.
It appears to be a very laudable organisation. So what do we find out? We find out that 12 of their employees, 12 Palestinians who were employed by them, took part in the October the 7th raid in Israel. And as a result of that, most of the major countries have pulled their funding from this. Something like, so far, $444 million has been taken away from it. And as a result, they are now no longer able to provide relief to these Palestinians, young Palestinians who need help and support. I mean, that's a dreadful thing as well. An organisation sponsored by the UN or part of the UN is actually peppered with terrorists who are then providing relief to the people who they've actually effectively, by their actions, forced into this horrific situation. And now, as a result of that, that organisation can no longer provide relief. How deep does this go? I mean, people talk about the Jewish infiltration of society, but this is exactly what we've got here, isn't it? The other way around, not Jewish people, but actually Hamas infiltrating major charitable organisations and causing all sorts of problems.
I wouldn't use the word infiltrate, because I don't think they were infiltrated. If you want to work in Palestine, you have to get permission of Hamas. If you're going to employ people in Palestine, you go to Hamas, and Hamas will tell you who you're employing.
Oh, really?
It's as simple as that. So these people weren't snuck in. These people were hired because they were given to this NGO, this non-government organisation, by Hamas themselves. So there's no wonder. One of the reasons why Palestine is in the mess it's in, first of all, the people of Palestine voted in Hamas. I think it was 25 years ago. And the first thing Hamas did was cancel all future elections and kill all the opposition. And so that was the end of that. So the people made this mistake. People need to take responsibility for that. What the UN did then was then compensate the people of Palestine and say to them, we're going to fund you to live. What they should have done was said, well, we're not going to fund you now. You need to sort your own stuff out, and you need to sort Hamas out. So how would the people rise up against Hamas when the UN are funding basically part of Hamas, feeding Hamas, feeding the population? There's no necessity now to put your life on the line to fight Hamas and get a better government. So the UN, as out of kindness and be kind and compassion, have created a terrorist state area and funding by the West. So we've created that ourselves. It doesn't surprise me at all that people who work for that charity organisation were part of it, because
it wasn't even if they were members or supporters of Hamas. They actually took part in the raid. In
the terrorist action. But this organisation funds Hamas. You know, where do you think half the food goes? You've seen the food being delivered in trucks to Palestine, and the armed Hamas taking it all, because their soldiers need feeding. So, and that happens in every country where there's a civil war or a war. You see it every time in Africa. We send aid, who takes it? The warlords, the rebels and the army take it all, because their soldiers need feeding. So all we do when we try to help, in a situation that we have no understanding of, we always make the situation worse, every single time.
And it's an interesting idea, the idea that Hamas came to power, then the UN, to assist the people in the country, started put aid in, and as a result of that, the natural inclination of the people to kick out Hamas is gone, because actually, since Hamas has come in, we're actually getting quite a bit of food and support, aren't we? So
Hamas was elected to look after the people. Hamas never did that, so the UN stepped in and took over the responsibility of Hamas. That's not how countries work.
I never thought about it that way. It's really interesting. But thinking if they're getting 1.4 billion a year aid. That's a lot of money to distribute into a country like Palestine.
And not most of it. A lot of that will be fraud siphoned off to be used for terrorism.
Yeah.
You can't take that sort of money into Palestine without Hamas taking a big chunk out.
Yeah, of course.
And that happens in every country.
And being in the position, by being armed, young, fit, to be able to do that as well, they can take it from the people. Yeah.
If you like that video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and comment. And if you like what I'm saying about running for Mayor of Greater Manchester, then stick around. Tell your family, tell your friends. The only way I'm going to have a chance of winning is a grassroots movement. So be part of that movement and hit that bell. Thanks.